G'day everyone, Artist Wayne here, and it's the Easter long weekend. And I, along with wife Jackie and our mad mate Mad Mal, are heading north, up past Scone, to a place called Timor. Jackie and I are on our Yamaha WR250s, and Mad Mal is riding his big 1290 KTM. The three of us were riding through the bush, trying to make our way to Moonan Flat for a lunch date. We were endeavouring against all odds to meet up with Mal's wife Mandy and daughter Kaya, and our mates Sam and Lynn. They were driving to Timor, and Sam thought it would be great if we could catch up for lunch. Now, for those of you that ride, some of you would agree with me that it's always hard to predict what time you're going to arrive at a certain destination, especially when riding through the bush, because let's face it, anything can happen. On top of that, it's hard to predict how long it's going to take you to ride somewhere, because you're always riding with people with varying levels of experience. And if you haven't done the ride before, it makes it even harder. But, lucky for us, there was one of us in our little trio who had done this ride before. And that person happened to be me. But do you think wife Jackie and my mate Mad Mal would listen to me when I said we need to get up really early to do this ride? Especially if we want to meet Sam, Lynn, Mandy and Kaya for lunch at Moonan Flat. No, of course they did listen to me. Mal responded with, "We don't need to get up early. I had a look on Google Maps and it only takes 3 hours. And wife Jackie responded with, "Ooh, I'm not going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Ooh." So I'd been outvoted. I'd been shot down, made to ride all morning, knowing without a doubt that we were never going to make our lunch date. And just about here was the reason. Now, like I said, I have done this ride before. It was with my equally mad mate, Dusty Taylor, and about 20 other riders. And it took forever. There were bikes falling over left, right and centre. You see, this place is just all slippery clay, and it was really, really wet when we did that ride. And just about here we were halfway, and we were already supposed to be at Moonan Flat for our lunch date. That's how long it was taking. Luckily, right here Mal was able to get a message out saying we weren't going to make lunch. Now, the ride so far had been absolutely spectacular. We had been riding through the most beautiful countryside. But this particular track, especially when it's wet, is very, very technical. Lucky for us it was a lot drier, but it was still a little difficult for wife Jackie, who was slightly out of her comfort zone and beginning to curse me more and more as the trail went on. But she certainly is a trooper, and she'd get up, dust herself off and keep on going. But if she knew what lied ahead, she probably wouldn't have, because we were about to hit water crossing after water crossing.
See, why did you stop? Go on, love, go. Turn her on and boom out of there, love.
Your bike's in the way.
It's booming around. Bit of throttle. Bit of momentum. Put your weight on the seat.
And that, my friends, was it. I was getting my boots wet. Now, by the time we'd finished this trail and we had finally gotten out to the road which would take us to Moonan Flat, we were still like 15 or 20 k's away. It was already 4:30, and our lunch date was between 12:30 and 1 o'clock. That's how long it had taken us. Now, to cut a long story short, when we finally arrived at the farm, Mandy, Kaya, Sam and Lynn were nowhere to be found, and we went into panic mode. I went out looking for them on my bike. Jacqueline rang the police. But at the end of the day, they had just waited. They had waited at Moon and Flat all that time. In fact, Mandy's ute had broken down. And she didn't think to ring Mal. But all's well that ends well. They rocked up at about 7:30 that night after we'd already finished dinner and we were half tanked. The following day, after an awesome night, once we were all settled and sitting on the back deck with Ian and Jenny, the owners of this beautiful farm at Timor, sitting around a fire, sipping our drinks and having a great night's sleep, we were up bright and early, working on some of the farm machinery and trying to fix Mal and Mandy's truck. It was then time for Mal and I to join Ian and hit some trails around the farm. Two and a half thousand acres of the most beautiful Australian countryside. And we had it all to ourselves. And let's not forget, that morning we were joined by our mates Candy, Kim and Andy, who had come up on their road bikes to camp the night and spend the following day with us. So after riding that morning with Ian, and everyone getting together for a fantastic lunch, Mal and I then headed out again, this time with Andy, who was riding Jackie's bike. This is really the best time to ride the property, in the afternoon. A beautiful golden light covers everything. And we got to explore even more of this wonderful countryside. It's just amazing the weird and wonderful wildlife you see on these trails. That night everyone pitched in and cooked an awesome meal, and there were loads of laughter and stories around the fire. The next morning we had an Easter egg hunt with Kaya, but you really had to be careful picking up chocolate Easter eggs. Some of them I ate were kangaroo and sheep droppings. The following morning we all headed to Nundle, where we had lunch at the pub, said farewell to Candy, checked out the Chinese festival that was on in the town, and when we returned to the farm that arvo, Sam on his mighty DR650, Mal on his 300 KTM, and I on my WR250 had one of the best rides on the farm ever. We were like three little kids. Boy, we had the best time ever.
Yeah, Sammy boy! Sammy boy! Sammy boy! Well, no, you actually stopped.
We found parts of the farm that not even I had explored before. Sam and I even found time for a bromance. The hills are alive with the sound of motorbikes, brap. But unfortunately, all good things must come to an end and we had to return to reality. But rest assured, we'll be back again. I'm artist Wayne Dowson, and thanks for watching, everyone.